everybody. Just wanted to give a quick little description, I guess, before I show you the video I filmed. As I was going through and editing it and watching the footage that we got, I just kind of felt like I needed to maybe go into a little bit of a detail or description before showing you, because I failed to do so during the video itself, and I apologize for that. This is pertaining to me making the birch oil, and we had other stuff going on, and it was just kind of distracting when I was there. But you'll notice that I'm just kind of doing it and I'm not really talking about it, and I apologize for that, because I have had some questions since posting a couple of pictures that I was going to be doing this that I didn't answer during the video. So right off the bat, a while back, I think it was right before the Christmas season, I posted some pictures of some tins that I got, and that I was planning on using those for this project. And unfortunately, I don't have the experience in doing this, but it was just a thought process that I kind of went through beforehand. I felt like those tins would fail in the birch oil process, and it was mainly because one of two reasons. One, if I were to use those stacked tins, like the snowflake tins that I had, if I were to use them the way that they were, I would either have a very small chamber to put birch bark in, which means I wouldn't get a lot of purchase from the birch bark, and not a lot of oil in the bottom container. And also, there wasn't a clear way to poke holes in that container for the oil to seep through as the bark's being charred or carbonized, and the oil's leaching out of it, because there were 3 pop rivets that connected each layer of the tin together. So that was my first thought. Well, to overcome that, and I thought, you know, what if I flipped them upside down, so I get more purchase from my bark, and it would work better. And then my issue with that was I'd have to dig a pretty deep hole to house the medium-sized tin and the small tin, and that way I could have the big tin on top to fill up with birch bark. And then my other conflict with that would be, how do I know that this oil isn't going to seep through the medium tin that I want it to collect in and go through where those pop rivets are into the next tin and maybe leach out onto the earth, into the ground, and I would waste a lot of oil that way. So before I left that day, I had the idea of just using a big popcorn tin that you can get like the flavored variety popcorn in, and then I happen to have a really nice thick-walled tin from Dragonfire Tinderbox that I use, his black tin that he sells, which now has a screw lid on top, so that's even better if you wanna go that route. You can kind of get your bang for your buck, where you can use the tinder that he gives you in that tin and then repurpose it and use it as a collection device, like what I did. So that was the route that I went with that. The popcorn tin worked great. I can reuse it over and over again. The walls held up fine. And then the other thing that I wanted to kind of go over was actually two things. I'm going to try to keep this really short because there's still a video after this. It's very important with your top tin that you poke your holes from the inside out, because you want the holes in the metal that you're forcing out to fold out towards the collection tin. Because if you poke it from the bottom inside of the bark tin, I guess that's what we call it, there's going to be the metal lip on the inside of the holes. It's going to keep the oil from draining through, you know, pretty evenly and freely into the collection tin. So I think I mentioned that the process for putting your bark in the main tin, I feel like now that I've done it, I could have made those rolls tighter and maybe gotten a little bit more in there. But again, you know, it was a first time thing, and so I was just kind of playing with it or whatever. But I made sure that all of the rolls that I put and packed into the top tin were all vertical, because you want the oil to be able to run down and be pulled from the rolls and then seep down. And The other thing that I did that I forgot to show on video, and again, I'm really sorry, it was just kind of a crazy day, and I was just excited and just didn't show steps like I normally would, is after I poked the holes into the bottom, I did 3 holes in the bottom of the big tin. I took a ball peen hammer, and Clint has a forge set up there at his house, and so he had a good sized hole on his anvil and you could do it with anything really. I mean, even if you have a flat surface and you just kind of hang the tin off the side. But I took a ball peen hammer and gently tapped the bottom of the big tin so that it concaved down to give the oil more reason to flow down into the tin underneath. Well, another thing that I failed to mention was there was still a pretty good amount of oil in the big tin itself, because it looked like I didn't have the tin level. Once I put the big tin on top of the collection tin and then packed dirt around it, it almost seemed like it was tilted a little bit, and that caused the oil to pile up onto the side and actually soak into one of the carbonized pieces of bark. So that piece didn't get drained fully of all the oil. So that was something too that I noticed. And then the big thing that I left out was the timing. I did not give you all a time as to how long we did it. And part of that was because we were all hanging out and I got hungry, and I busted out my firebox stove and started making lunch and just kind of forgot about it. With these kind of projects, me personally, I get really impatient and I don't like just sitting there waiting for something, so I'll busy myself doing something else, and then oftentimes too much time goes by for the initial project that I started. So luckily with this, you can't hurt it if it keeps burning and burning and burning. But we did pile up wood around the tin and make the fire, keep the fire rather large for quite a little while. I don't think you would need more than an hour of doing this, but with us it was probably closer to the 2-hour mark. But by the end of it, it was burned down completely. And just be real careful. Take a shovel or a stick or something and push all the coals away from the big tin, and get all the coals away to where you're just on the ground, and it's still gonna be really hot. And then carefully just straight up lift your tin away from the collection tin and put it to the side. And be sure to not get any residue or any kind of debris or anything in your collection tin, because that's going to compromise it being pure birch oil. So other than that, it turned out great. I got a good amount. It does harden up a little bit. I know I mentioned in the video that you can add olive oil or beeswax to it, and I think I was getting that confused with pine tar. But as far as I know, you can use birch oil the way it is on wooden products, but that's going to be something I'll be looking into more. I just didn't want to mislead anybody or say the wrong thing or speak wrongly. So enjoy this video, guys. Thank you for watching so much, and please comment and add your input if you've done this before. I'd love to learn more about it. And yeah, it was a great time. Give it a try if you haven't. And it's real easy. You just need some land where you can make a pretty good fire and just let it burn for a good while. And it's even better if you've got buddies there with you. So have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.
No women allowed on these camping trips?
The last one was all women. The last class.
What do you set up, a porta potty or just a tree?
No, that was an issue. That was one of the complaints. Yeah, you did a very good job on the porta potty.
Oh, a tree didn't work?
But that's what most of them use. My wife used to.
What, he's gonna string a perimeter?
No, I'm putting up this hammock.
Putting up a what?
I'm trying to figure out this hammock real quick.
Oh, a hammock.
This particular hammock.
You need a wider space.
Yeah, this isn't like a regular. This is called a Birch hammock. Works a little different.
So I've never done this before, but at this point, just trying to get as much as we can in here. So we don't have to keep doing this over and over again.
Hills in, and then you kind of adjust it.
You can sleep anywhere in it. You ain't gonna fall out of it.
See, this is your heading.
Wide open. Huh? Well, you'd have to rip through fabric to get out of it. Double layer with two. I think you're gonna have to take a toll. Yeah.
So here's what we're looking at. It's pretty full, and from what I've seen, talking with Tony Daniel and a couple other guys, you want to try to make sure that all your birch bark rolls are vertical so that it seeps down the tin and out the bottom. And then you punch your holes from the inside out so that there's no resistance from the oil. All right, move the camera and show you what we're working with over here. All right, so I got this spare tin buried here, and we put the lid on it until it's time to put the big tin on top of it so that there's no dirt getting in the collection tin and compromising the oil that we would have. So this is where I'll be real careful.
Hole measuring contest.
And this lid is really tight. on. Let's try this.
I'm even getting in. Put this on video.
It's gonna be the hardest part of this.
I think I need to raise the head up.
Yeah.
Upside down.
Okay, get out of it real quick. We'll raise it up. Just have to remember what we did is how high thing hits you. Okay, that's right. I think that's about how we had it set up at the. Yeah, your head's still a little low. Oh, you know why? It's because your tree. You're higher on this tree than this
Hey,
tree.
Clint.
Huh?
Can you come over here and hold this top 10? Like, just put weight on it so it doesn't shift. I've got the holes right over the bottom.
I'm higher on that tree. Yeah.
The tree's getting up higher too.
Here's some more of this if you need some over on your side. Get over there?
Yep.
All right. Let's see what we got. All right, so we're gonna gather some stuff to get a fire going, and just like when you're trying to boil 32 ounces of water in a quick amount of time, we've got to build a fire around it, and we'll probably have to chase the fire to get it burning all the way around it, because you want this thing engulfed in flames. So we'll clear out the area and get you turned back on once we get this going. So I forgot to I forgot to turn on the camera to film us getting this started, but basically I just took some of the excess birch bark and just wrapped it all around the tin, and we just went around and lit that, and that's gonna catch all these other sticks on fire, and we're just gonna build a big fire around it and let it burn down. And the good thing about this is that, at least from what I've seen and read, is that if you burn it and you build a big fire and let it burn down, move the coals away, and you lift off the top tin real carefully, and you see that there's hardly any oil, it's just like char cloth. You can put it right back on top and, you know, set the thing on fire again and try to get all of it that you can out of it. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't blow up, or somehow the fire gets between the top tin and the collection tin, because that stuff's straight gasoline. So we'll check back in with you and let you know how this goes.
I think it was like a family member. Tell me before you start.
All right, so I got distracted and made some lunch, but also went ahead and picked this up without getting it on camera. But we do have some birch oil in here. That's a good amount.
Now you could keep that.
Yeah, it'll get a little hardened like pine sap,
Right.
and you can mix it with beeswax or olive oil to make it thinner, and then you can Put it on all kinds of stuff. Now this should all be charred.
I'd get that away from you.
Oh yeah, nothing left. Well, there's a lot of oil left in here too. Whole lot of oil. But it's got all this stuff in it, you know. Doesn't smell too good.
Well, that only took 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Wow. You know, you get foam almost like a funnel.
So, here's about how much we got. Know how well that's focusing. It's a good amount. It's about not quite a quarter. So, first time doing it. I'm happy with it. See what this stuff looks like in here.
I wonder because it has all that stuff in it.
Probably.
It's not the pure.
It's cool. Never done it before, so